So Vice had a panel of modernist and traditionalist men debating masculinity. I saw not so erudite react to it, so it compelled me to watch the video myself because I want to see what's going on over at Vice and what they think about masculinity. So let's take a look at what's going on.
I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date, and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like,
whoa. Off top, we're already off to a bad start, nigga. How are you paying $150 on the first date? Look at Herschel Walker's son. This nigga low key smiling. Like this nigga, even he know his bullshit. This nigga got a little smile coming up too, bro. Fellas, y'all paying $150 for a date, bro? Did you say $150 or so? Yeah, y'all paying $150, bro? All you gotta do is take Shorty to Starbucks, bro. Facts. A lot of y'all niggas think that you gotta do all this extra shit. You really don't. Like, if she likes you, bro, a little Starbucks date, she fucking with it, bro. Like $150 on the date, bro. You tripping, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Let's keep watching. This is crazy.
I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I?
They already laughing at this nigga.
Trade off of like going on a date and as the man being like, oh, this sucks, I have to pay, or as the woman being like, oh, this sucks, I might get murdered, is like a pretty big imbalance.
Okay, hold up. What are the odds of you getting killed at a date? For both men and women. Now, of course, if you're a man, the odds of your female companion killing you on a date are like 0.1. Like, like, it would take you would have to be at fault for her to kill you. But, like, the statistical odds of that are just unbelievably low. But, yeah, for him to even, like, try to compare the two, it's like, it's not the same. But I don't feel bad for this guy. You put down $150 on a date, bro? You spend $150 on a date? Why would you do that? It doesn't take that much money to give a girl a nice date, bro. It just does not. This is already off to a bad start. This is already off to a bad start, dog.
How you guys doing? My name's Krishna. Thank you all for being here and talking through masculinity, what it means to be a man, etc. Obviously, we couldn't fit every man in the country into this room. We tried to get a diverse perspective, but of course, that caveat, we're not everyone. I wanted to start by telling you why this is something that I'm interested in. I have an 8-year-old son, and I'm seeing him absorb what manliness might mean. I'm thinking to myself, like, what does it mean to be a man? To start, maybe we could just introduce each other to each other, and if you were to describe what it means to be a man or to be masculine.
My name is Tahoe. I'm a black man from the hood. When I was young, being a man, you had to be tough. You had to be hard. And now, to me, being a man is a lot different. Now, to me, being a man is knowing when to be soft. Knowing that you don't always have to run the charge. You can actually listen. You know what I mean? So things have changed a lot over the course of the years for me.
I'm Griffin, and I don't identify as a man. I'm non-binary.
Wait, hold up. At the beginning of the video, it said Vice invited. Let's go back, because reading is fundamental. Reading is incredibly fundamental. So we're going to go right back to the beginning. What did this video say at the beginning?
A pretty big
imbalance.
It says...
How you guys doing?
It says Vice invited male identifying... Oh, never mind. See, my reading skills ain't shit. Vice clearly stated that they invited non-binary folks as well. So I'm sitting here trying to catch Vice in a lie, and I'm wrong. See, y'all shouldn't even be watching me. Look at this shit.
My name is James Killen, former United States Marine turned Air Force officer. Got a couple combat tours, but I'm also a father of 3 girls who mellowed me out. The idea of masculinity is something that I find interesting because it is changing, and I can actually see those changes in myself. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this panel.
Thanks for your service. Andre.
Hey, what's up?
In masculinity. Is there a crisis in masculinity? If so, like, what is that crisis?
The thing that I see is a lot of deconstructing generational trauma. The be a man, boys don't cry, this, that, and the other thing. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why we see it as a crisis, because we're actually trying to redefine what it means to be a man, and none of us have any idea because we're just out here trying to be whoever we are.
I don't know if that's a crisis, like be a man, don't cry. Because, like, we can sit there and say that that's a crisis, but what happens when young men do cry? Like, we sit there and say, oh, you know, it's so fucked up that we tell young men to man up and not cry. But we don't want to talk about what happens when young men do cry. Motherfuckers make fun of you. People insult you behind your back. Your girl gonna leave you because she don't want to be with a dude that's crying. We don't talk about the penalty you pay for crying. And I feel like that's the part of the masculinity discussion that we haven't explored, is like, okay, well, it's nice and all to tell young men, like, oh, you know, it's perfectly okay to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. Well, when these young men do it and it backfires on them, then what? Like, if the only thing we're going to do here is toss out, like, you know, we should be able to do this, or young men should be able to do that, or young men should do this or should do that, well, young men are doing this shit and it's backfiring. So if young men are doing what we're telling them to do and it's not working for them or making their lives worse, is that really a crisis? Or are we trying to tear down shit that had a purpose and a meaning that we just simply forgot? I think that the whole, like, oh, don't, you know, men don't cry shit, I feel like there's a better way to communicate to a young man why crying, although it is okay, you should be very wary of where and who you're crying in front of. You should be very wary of that. It's not wrong for a man to cry, but there are certain technicalities that we do need to inform young men about. Like, you can't just cry with anybody. You can't cry anywhere. Like, you got to be very, very conscientious of where and when you're expressing that level of vulnerability, because no one's going to treat you like a female who's crying. A woman who's crying is not going to have the same caveats and warnings about crying that you will. So, you know, that's just my opinion on that, though.
That's right. I think that historically, being a man was rooted in patriarchy and misogyny. And now...
What? I'm sorry to cut him off so quick, but I really disagree with that. Like, I disagree that the idea of being a man was rooted in hating women or patriarchy. Well, patriarchy definitely has a part in male identity, definitely. But I don't believe that masculine identity has always been rooted in the hatred of women. I really don't believe. I struggle to understand where, like, and this is it's so weird how, like, people will take these things and just throw all sorts of terms on it. I really don't think that throughout human history, masculinity has been defined by the hatred of women. I think masculinity has definitely been defined by certain virtues like honesty, integrity, reliability. These are the kinds of things that have, you know, been attached to male identity. I think it would be hard pressed to find, especially in Western culture, where to be a man meant you slap your wife or you beat your kids. Like, I find it hard to believe that that's ever been. Now, has that been an issue throughout history? Yes, but I don't think that male identity has always been anchored to the idea of being an ugly person to your wife and kids and to the rest of society. I don't believe that.
We realize how harmful that has been over the years. And so we don't really know how to define where we're supposed to be. And I think the reason that they're saying it's a crisis is because the box has gotten so small for just being, say, straight, just being a hetero, right? Because if you do anything, women judge you.
What do you mean anything?
If I dance a certain way, or if I wear my hair a certain way, if I dress a certain way, they go, real men don't do that. Real men don't do that. And so you get scared to move a certain way because you don't want to get judged or outed out of the accepted part of your community.
And that's what I'm saying when people sit there and say, oh, well, you know, young men need to start being a little more feminine, and young men need to explore their feminine side, and young men need to do this and do that. Y'all have all these suggestions about what young men should or shouldn't do. How about this? How about y'all admit the fact that when y'all sit there and say, you know, young men should really explore wearing dresses, when the nigga that you're talking to, when you find a dress in his fucking closet, he invites you over to his crib and you find a dress in his closet, tell me that you're not gonna sit there and text your girlfriend, girl, he got a dress in his closet? I'm leaving. He wears dresses. Stop. The only nigga I know of that wears dresses or wore dresses and was bold about it and still got females, fuck Harry Styles. Young Thug. That's the only, and he ain't even did that shit in a long time. I don't know the last time Jeffrey even wore dress. So it's like we can sit here and talk about, oh, young men really need to explore this or explore that. Well, what happens when we actually do explore those things? Now, I'm not speaking from experience. I've never worn a dress in my life. I've never explored my femininity to any extent, or especially to that extent. But I know for a fact that when women see when women see men, especially young women, see men expressing more feminine traits, it's not rewarded, bro. When society sees you expressing more feminine traits, it's not rewarded. So we're encouraging young men to jump off a cliff. Why is it that the substitution for toxic masculinity is just feminine? It's just feminine energy in general. Like, why is it that the only way a young man can be like, why is the only alternative to toxic masculinity femininity? Why can't we just have a much more positive and virtuous form of masculinity take over?
And I think that kind of has us in an uproar, and we don't know where to be. Like, where's the safe place to be for men now? You know what I mean? And it's kind of disturbing.
I was what you would call a toxic masculine male growing up. And I had good men that sewed into me. They gave me good advice, but I never found manhood or never understood my place as a man until one day I humbled myself and I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you right now, walking with God changed my life forever.
Can you define toxic masculinity? Like,
I would say toxic masculinity is like what he was just saying, where you're using that leadership role or that aggressive nature in a harmful way to harm other people to get your way. So the biblical structure for manhood is very humble. It's self-sacrifice. It's not self-motivated, but it is motivated by principle and standing on what's right. So there is a clear-cut vision for manhood in the Bible that I live by, and I think our culture used to live by, and I think our culture has lost its way.
I think everybody sort of has a different definition of toxic masculinity. I don't find masculinity toxic in and of itself, but I do believe in bad men and bad men exist. But does that...
This nigga's a character, bro. Like, this nigga's a character. If he was straight, he'd be getting up, bro. He would be killing it in the game. He'd be covered in females if he was straight. I ain't gonna lie. But he's a character nonetheless.
I mean, every man is toxically masculine? No.
When you're talking about a crisis on masculinity, I think that there's a lack of understanding there. So it's like masculinity, being masculine isn't toxic. It's just like there are portions of it that you can dive into that make it toxic.
Because I think a lot of what we think of masculinity is tied into patriarchy, right? Which is to say, like, for the longest period of human history, like, men dominated women and got the lion's share of stuff.
I think a lot of times some people make masculinity into a caricature, like it has to be this alpha bro tough guy.
Exactly.
And I find the low-key guy who, is a really great father and a great husband and maybe not like drinking raw eggs every day to be a lot more masculine than the alpha bro who's going and like banging 20 women per weekend and not a responsible man. I find it more masculine to be a good guy.
I think that a background of this is that we are saying that gender is this like real thing that has real ideas and implications. And Griffin, I'm wondering, as someone who identifies as non-binary, how does this conversation strike you?
Well, I think that it kind of becomes like irrelevant whether or not we attribute like having like a good ethical compass to being like masculine. Attributing that to like the gender constructs which we have made up, which are like somewhat pointless, like kind of just feed into needless roles that uphold the patriarchy without even knowing it.
I don't think these roles were necessarily needless. Like, when we talk about certain virtues and positive traits being applied to masculinity, we're talking about a world where men, of course, ran everything, right? So when dealing with another man, there were certain expectations, right? Like, if we're going to be the ones running society, if we're going to be the ones with the responsibility of taking care of the household, on a financial level, on an infrastructure level, if we're going to be the ones going to war, if we're going to be the ones who bear all of these different responsibilities, then by default, we must be honest. We must have integrity. We must be reliable. What kind of colonel or captain are you when you don't have a full list of your troops? You're not reliable. What kind of man are you if you can't, turn to your wife and be honest to her about where you've been? You know what I'm saying? Like, You're the head of the household. You got all this responsibility and power, and yet you have no virtues to back that up. I feel as though I don't think it's necessarily wrong that those things are, I don't think I understand why people are offended by the idea of these things being attached to masculinity, but it's like I don't know, like I don't know. I guess it's something that I definitely need to explore more myself. Um but you know, yeah, back to the video.
A lot of those things are just things that people should be doing because they're like morally right. Like if you're in a family, you should probably support your family. And I really don't think that it has to do with like your manhood.
These characteristics that we're talking about are baked into an old system of domestic life.
I think
Actually, fuck it. Now that it came to me mentally, right? Let's say you were a man and you had a family. You had a wife and you had kids, but you weren't taking care of the family your wife was. Eventually there's going to be a strong resentment coming from your wife and your children to you as a man. They're going to attach your masculinity to your ability to take care of the household. And I think that it's nice and all to say, oh, well, you know, things like responsibility and reliability shouldn't be attributed to men. And yet when we look at situations where responsibility and reliability matter most, like the sustaining the sustenance of a household, we tend to look to the man to be the one to do that. And I don't think it's just social conditioning. I think from biologically, there is a biological expectation that men, women, and children have toward men as a group to be these things. I genuinely do believe that. So I think it's fun to sit there and say, oh, well, you know, it's not so, you know, we shouldn't attribute, you know, these traits to masculinity, but it's like when you look at situations where these traits are needed at the most, like you look at situations where these traits are needed most, it's extremely clear to me that people tend to turn to men to fill those roles and tend to attach those roles and the values and virtues attached to those roles to men. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking crazy.
I think that's actually where we get toxic masculinity. Like none of us can really describe what it is, but we can see it when it happens.
So we learn it, right?
Yeah.
This is something we learn from the world. It's something we learn from like TV and shit, and it's maybe something we learn from our dads too. Tell me about your dad.
I'm a first generation kid. My dad is from Guyana. Grew up in very humble beginnings.
Wife should do, and it caused a lot of stress.
Why were you the way you were?
You know, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of pent up rage. I had, you know, some combat stress that I had to deal with also that I wasn't dealing with because men don't show emotion.
There is a social construct that benefits men. And so the responsibility that I've learned as I've gotten older is learning how to not enforce my power, learning over women, over people.
You're saying that role gives men more privilege, like an advantage and privilege. I'm saying that it is more self-sacrificing. I do not have free time. I do not have hobbies. I do not wake up during the day and do what I want to do ever. I'm thinking about my wife, my kids, my business.
But that's your decision, and that's not like a mandatory thing of your masculinity.
Well,
That's cap. That's big cap. And this is the shit that I'm talking about. People sit there and act like these roles that men assume are just make-believe fantasy bullshit. But when men stop assuming those roles, everybody gets mad. Everybody gets pissed. All those same women talking all this shit about, you know, you really don't have to fulfill that role and you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. The moment you stop, shit gets real. And now the complaints and, oh my, you're not doing this, or you're not doing that, and you're not even a man, and you this and you that, all the fuck shit, right? Stop. If you stop living up to the roles you're supposed to fulfill, people will get mad at you as a man. And we sit here and act like this. I feel like it's because we're so separated from a world. We're in this technological, this technologically advanced world where we can sit there and look at gender roles and gender expectations and kind of like laugh at them. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And it's like, it's like people live in fantasy land. And on top of that, it's like the people who seem to be the most adamant about these like fantasy realities that men, you know, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. Who is this coming from? It's coming from women. It's coming from the very people that don't have to do the shit that you're expected to do. So it's funny how women or non-binary men who assume completely different roles and different lifestyles can sit there and say, you don't have to do that. And then when you stop, all of a sudden reality kicks in, and it's, you're not a real man, you're not this, you're not that, why ain't you doing this, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, if you were a real man you would have da-da-da-da-da. It's fun to sit there and act like the roles that men assume are just like unnecessary bullshit until shit gets real. Then all of a sudden everybody remembers. It frustrates me. It's like, stop telling young men that it's okay to do this or do that or do this or do that, and then get mad when they actually listen to you. When young men stop living out their masculine roles, or they start doing this and they start doing that, and they start doing shit that they're really not when they start doing shit that society actually doesn't like. There's shit that society tells young men to do, and then when young men do it, there's a collective like, okay, like we didn't realize that would happen if you did it, so if you could just roll that back a little bit, like, young men should be more vulnerable. Then he cries over his dog dying, and it's like, I didn't mean it like that. Like, okay, stop the crying. What I meant by being vulnerable is do this, and this, like this carefully curated list of vulnerabilities that I will allow you to show. Do that instead of just being completely vulnerable like I am. Like, it's cute telling young men like, oh, you could just do this instead. Y'all don't mean that shit, bro. Y'all niggas don't mean that shit. Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
If you believe that God is true,
I don't.
and you believe that He is God, then you do have that responsibility.
What privilege are you referring to? Like, what privileges do men have?
We've constructed this entire society to benefit us.
Break it down. Like, what privileges exactly?
Like, we talk about the wage gap, or if you look at Roe versus Wade, men controlling women's bodies.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the wage gap is bullshit. Like, I'm pretty sure women are not being paid less than men on the exact same wage. Now, I do believe that women as a whole are paid less than men, but that's because men do far more risky jobs than women. Women have a very set like archetypical set of jobs that they're willing to do. Men are willing to do all types of wild fucking jobs, and as a result, men as a whole will earn more per year as a gender. If you add everybody's salaries together, will earn more together than women will earn more together. However, the whole Roe versus Wade thing, I definitely agree. I think it's crazy that people who don't have a uterus, who don't have to bear the burden of giving birth, can be so like flagrant and like lackadaisical about like not allowing women to consider an abortion. I think it's very, very, I just think that it's not fair to sit there and tell someone who actually has to bear the burden of this, of having a child. Or maybe they have a child and they don't perceive it as a burden. Maybe they want to have this baby, but this baby has complications and they don't want that baby to live a life of suffering. You're going to stop this loving mother who just wants their baby, who would rather their baby simply pass on rather than live a life of suffering? Like, I mean, like, simply because you have the power to do so as a man, I agree with that. I think that there are certain situations where we as men definitely overstep our boundaries. I would agree with that.
Even if there might be those privileges, there's also more men who commit suicide, more men incarcerated. I think when you talk about like incarceration rates and things like that, like things that men are a victim of, I think that it's important to like recognize, like, I don't think that men are oppressed solely on the grounds that they're men. I think that men like experience oppression based on like the intersections of their identities, which is, why we see like different like lower class jobs being worked by men, or like higher suicide rates, or like incarceration rates going up, because like men, like black men, brown men, indigenous men, queer men, trans men, etc. Those people that like face oppression, they experience oppression, but it's not solely due to their identity as a man.
But I think dating and
I think that's cap, bro. The idea that, oh well, it's the male identity that's making. No. Ask women, do you want to be an infantryman? No. Ask women, do you want to be working on a fucking coal mine? No. Do you want to be working at an oil rig? No. Most of these chicks don't want to do it. There are some women that do manual labor jobs. Don't get it twisted. But the majority of women want no parts of that shit. So when people sit there and say like, oh, well, if men didn't, attach their identity to these jobs, do you actually want to do those jobs, ma'am? You know the answer. So stop acting like women are just waiting with bated breath to have Abdul and his homies shoot RPGs at them. Stop acting like you and the rest of your girlfriends just can't wait to put the Starbucks down and run all the way down to the oil rig and work there with the men. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. There's nothing wrong with pointing out that, like, it's not a lie that men definitely attach their identity to these hard jobs, but we also have to take into account that if men don't do these jobs, women for damn sure don't want to do them. Like, this is just, that has to be taken into account. So when we talk about male suicide and male, workplace deaths and male this and male, incarceration, we got to take into account, bro, like, women don't want to do a lot of the shit that makes men's life harder. We got to take that into account. Like, men have struggles, women definitely have struggles, but let's not try to use the whole, well, men attach their identity to that. Like, no, like, women do not want to fill that vacuum anyways. So even if men said, you know what, we're done attaching our identity to hard jobs, women don't want to fill it in no type of way anyway. So what are we talking about? I don't know, bro. It's just crazy.
Sex is probably a very interesting place to think about this because it's changing field as far as like what people expect of each other.
I date in New York City a lot, and dating wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like, first dates are like nightmares.
I got a question on that, yeah.
Dude, it's like, I'm like,
I don't know, bro. Like, are they? I don't know. I feel like first dates are only nightmares, bro, if you weren't moving right beforehand. Like, all you got to do is, like, letting a girl know, like, hey, yo, what's up? I thought, hey, not to be weird, thought you were cute, could I take you out sometime, could I give you my number? And, bro, like, if y'all are gonna hit it off, bro, she'll probably say yes that day. Y'all will probably text a few times and then go on the date. Like, I feel like the only way you could have consecutively bad first dates is if you're pursuing women that you know don't really fuck with you. Like, that's the only way.
like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox. Like, are you gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting?
I mean, he's not wrong, but there's a few of the, okay, dog. Fellas, like, I'm gonna give advice to the niggas watching this shit. Definitely pay for the meal. Definitely open the door to any venue you guys go into, but you do not have to open the car door. You do not have to walk on the side of the sidewalk that's exposed to the road. Now, I would recommend that you do. It's just a common courtesy. Both of you guys will get killed if a car comes anyways. Like, y'all are both gonna die. So you can have your nice little romantic death and you can take the first hit. But definitely open the door to any venue. Definitely pay for the first date. Like, men exchange resources, women exchange sex. This is the way that humans work. Do not think that you're just going to be able to withhold resources from a woman and just get sex from her unless you're just super sexually attractive to her, or you're Drake. If you're watching this, you know you don't got to pay for the first day. You know you could just invite Shorty to your crib and it's good. Don't worry, bro. We understand. But for the rest of us mere mortals watching this video, definitely pay for the first date. Definitely open the door to any venue you guys go into. But the whole, like, open the car door, walk on the other side of the side, like, you don't have to. But I mean, if you want to, you can.
During the dinner, are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk home, are you gonna?
The funny part, like, if she likes you, all of your jokes are funny, or most of them. If she doesn't like you, bro, nigga, it's over for your ass.
Drop me off. Are you gonna watch me walk inside, and then are you gonna text me after? And it's like trying to defuse a bomb. Like, if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing, and you're just done. And it's like I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date, and then you just ghost me. I could have used that $150. Like, why did I have to? You know what I'm saying?
Like, the trade-off of like going on a date and
bro is outside, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I won't lie, bro. I was kind of at that mindset at one point, like, bro, this shit too damn hard, bro. Fuck, bro. And then you kind of just realize, like, bro, most of these chicks ain't gonna like you, bro. Most of these chicks aren't waiting with bated breath to date you. When you realize that, life becomes significantly easier, right? What you got to understand is this. Most of these chicks ain't really going to pick you because most women are attracted to a very small group of men. But a few chicks here and there will say, you know what, he's cute. If you're dealing with that girl, the girl that actually likes you, bro, I guarantee you this, G. If you're actually dealing with the kind of girl that likes you, you're not going to feel like you're diffusing a bomb. You're going to feel perfectly fine. If you're dealing with a woman who is not giving you a good amount of interest from the jump, you will feel like you are diffusing a bomb. If you're dealing with a girl that's constantly tallying everything you do, why did you make a joke like that? That was rude. Why didn't you turn right when you could have still turned when the red light was there? You know you could turn right? Like when you're dealing with a female that's doing that, bro, she doesn't really like you like that. Like she maybe kind of sort of slightly is entertaining you. Maybe she like kind of like 5% likes you. That's what happens. And the only way you can really get around that as a man is, number one, accept the fact that none of these chicks that, like any chick that doesn't find you attractive, you got to let that go. You can't negotiate attraction, number one. Number two, make yourself more attractive. Therefore, you have more leverage in the relationship. If you're, not fitting in shape, if you're not attractive, like looks wise can take you a long way. Like if you're just living in an apartment, you got a car, you're good. That's good enough. If you got the looks though, now you're set. But bro, like this shit it's not like diffusing it. In my experience, dating has only ever felt like diffusing a bomb when dealing with a girl who does not have clear, solid interest. When she's not solidly interested in you, it feels like you're diffusing a bomb with bullets going over your head. Agreed. But it's important to point out that it's not because women are difficult or women are evil. It's because you're dealing with women that haven't verbally told you they don't like you, but are like non-directly telling you, like they're indirectly telling you that they're not really all that into you, but they're entertaining you for attention, free dates, free food, like whatever. I mean, it's real out here, bro. Like the game is real out here, but he's complaining about some shit that, in my opinion, it's very easy to dodge.
As the man being like, oh, this sucks, I have to pay, or as the woman being like, oh, this sucks, I might get murdered, is like a pretty big, imbalance.
On a first date, should the man, or whoever identifies as the man on the date, pick up the check?
Whoever identifies as the man. Oh my God. I know I'm not supposed to like poke at this because it's like considered like bigotry or whatever, but like we're living in crazy world, bro. Whoever identifies as the man. Bro, fellas, do you really believe in your right goddamn mind that if you out with a chick and it's date night, you out with shorty, you carry yourself like a man, you dress like a man, act like a man for the most part. We know, like, please don't, like, what does it mean to act like a man? Don't play with me. You act like a man, blah, blah, blah. And you're on date night with shorty, right? And it's time to pay for the date, right? Do you really think you could sit there and look at this chick, regardless of whatever her bullshit is in her fucking, her fuckery is in her bio? Do you really believe that if you pulled I identify as female, do you want to pay for the date? Bruh. Nigga. If you do some shit like that, bro, that's the last date y'all are going on. Facts. I don't care if she is, I don't care if she has pronouns in her bio. I don't care if she's always posting about pro LGBTQ, whatever. I promise you, if you pull some, I don't identify as male, so do you want to pay? You pull that on a date with any liberal girl, I guarantee you she's not calling you back. Facts.
Show of hands. Who thinks yes?
Yeah, should is a weird.
Yeah, shit's a weird way to put it.
Okay, sorry.
Let me replay the question because I interrupted that shit. My bad.
The date, pick up, and or whoever identifies as the man.
I might get murdered is like a pretty big, imbalance.
On a first date, should the man or whoever identifies as the man on the date pick up the check? Show of hands. Who thinks yes?
Yeah, should is a weird.
Yeah, shit's a weird way to put it.
Okay, sorry. How would you put it?
I very much love gender roles. I like masculine men, and I want my masculine man to pick the check up. My friends seem to be the same. My girlfriends seem to want that as well. but I have a male friend who was naturally doing that, and with the dates he was going on with women, they were offended that he like took the check. So I think like, hey, if
Bro, don't fall for that shit. The whole like, I don't like that he took the check. Bro, women are notorious for telling you to do shit they don't actually want you to do, bro. How many, bro? Women are notorious for saying, you know, I honestly don't mind if I pay for the date, bruh. She gonna do it, bruh. And then that night of the date, she gonna be sitting there on her bed. I can't believe he didn't pay for the date. Like, does he really like me? And then she gonna get to texting her friends and texting her mama. And then when her mama, he didn't pay for the date? Oh my God, bruh. It's over for your ass, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like, don't fall for this shit. Bro, when women sit there and say that they're mad that you pay for the date, bro, they don't mean that shit. I'm telling you, bro. Because the moment you don't actually pay, bro, nigga, yeah, you're in for a rude awakening, bro. Like, believe me, it's over for your ass.
this woman doesn't want him to pay and she wants to show she can pay, go off.
I think it's a matter of preference. Like, you know, if someone picked it up for you, like, you develop a kind of rapport, respect with that person. Like, so be it. If the other person, you know, the woman you're with doesn't want that, then maybe it's not the match for that person. So I think it's dependent on the situation.
I think that there's such a thing as financial abuse. And men seem a lot of time, because they spend, that a woman has to be under them or owes them something.
I think that's when you get toxic.
Me personally, I love to take care of my partner. I love that feeling that I give them, that they're taken care of when they're with me. And that's when it's with friends, anybody. If you're with me, I got you.
Like, I guess what I'm hearing from you, Andre, is that there's like a lot of pressure to inhabit the masculine side of the social expectation. And yet you might not get the benefit that you would have expected generations ago. And that puts you in a weird position.
Yeah, well, we live in a city where there's 8 million people, and you know, a lot of these girls, especially if you're really attractive, guys are hitting on them all day. So they feel like celebrities. You got so many options. I don't blame you. I'd be the same way. Becomes like
somebody better.
I think technology has a big part to do with that now. Like modern times, like online dating, Instagram.
Especially as a girl, you're gonna have 30 DMs a day.
Yeah, the DMs.
You know what I'm saying? Swiping up on your
I think that's a big reason why it can be tougher for some men.
not successful.
I think what he's saying is
He's not saying successful.
there's a toxicity to femininity as well. There is a toxic side to both genders.
Well,
I
on
think
the flip
anybody
side-
can be narcissistic, but I think that it's like weird to randomly attribute that to like women in New York because they're being complimented all day.
There's a term, it's called absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, but that is, when we're talking about masculinity, that's what we've had. We've typically had that. We can do whatever we want. And we do it because we squeeze, we corrupt, we take. Historically, you take over things, places that you don't like, and you rape the women, and you take the gold, and you do what you want because you have that power. Now, when we see women have that power, we're like, whoa, she's literally just getting a taste of the power that men have had for centuries.
But on the flip side of this perspective of dating, of like the poor guy who goes on these dates and gets ghosted, and it's a struggle to date. On the other side of that is men have more sex, men cheat more, they have more affairs. So if I'm a woman and I'm looking for a guy, I would be really
Men definitely don't have more sex. Men definitely don't have more affairs. That's just not the case. Men are having less sex than ever. Men are having less sex than women nowadays.
selective. I would have a list of what I was looking for, and the guy would have to meet those standards and they would be high.
I think over the last several years, the Me Too movement has given a lot of insight into what women are feeling in the workplace, what they're experiencing, how they're being abused and otherwise silenced, how institutions of power have kept them silent. And we've heard some really awful stories and some terrible shit. I want to hear from you guys what you think about what the Me Too movement did. Has it gone too far? What does it mean for you?
I think it's good for women.
Ultimately, bro, like, I think that we're playing a game of pretend and make-believe to such an insane extent, it's almost just pathetic. Like, if you, the person who identifies as male, should they pay for the date? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then, like, the whole, like, bro, like, this is all just make-believe fuckery, bro. Like, you know, like, it's just ridiculous. That's just most of this shit is just absolutely fucking crazy. And I feel like we're over exaggerating. Like, we're trying to make it seem like most men are toxically masculine, or like toxic masculinity is normal, when it's really not. Like, most people are for the most part not toxically masculine or feminine. It's just funny to me, like, how we're trying to blame so many societal issues on toxic masculinity without looking at the bigger picture and realizing that the genders the genders issues kind of ebb and flow with one another. Like, if you look at an issue that women are facing, you can usually find men being responsible for that, and the same vice versa. We sit there and talk about men are vulnerable enough, men are emotional enough. Bro, these niggas get emotional and their girlfriend leaves them. How about that? So it's easy to sit there and say, like, oh, you know, toxic masculinity or blah blah blah. Most of the time, bro, like, it's not even that. It's just crazy to me. It's just funny to me, like, how we're blaming so many issues on men over and over and over again. And I feel like there's a lot, and to be honest, I think it's very sexist. I think it's funny that every time we look for a solution, the first thing we do is just throw it at men's feet and ask for the problem to be solved. I think that's funny how every time there's a big racial, gender, war, financial, any sort of big issue, just throw it at men's feet, figure it out. I'm just saying, right? It is what it is, though. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.